Soulja Boy, tell me. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called the Soulja Boy. You just gotta punch, then crank back 3 times from left to right. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soulja Boy, that Superman, that hoe? Now why me you crank that soul? 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 Now why me Soulja Boy up in the hoe? Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soulja Boy, that Superman, that hoe? Now why me you crank that soul? 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 Now why me Soulja Boy up in the hoe? Why me lean and why me rock? Superman that hoe. Then why me crank that Robocop? Super friend, now why me jocking on them haters, man. When I do that Soulja Boy, I lean to left, then crank that thing. Now you, I'm jocking on your bitch ass. And if we get to fighting, then I'm cocking on your bitch ass. You catch me at your local party, yes, I crank it every day. Haters getting mad cause I got me some baby day. Soulja Boy up in the hoe. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soulja Boy, that Superman, that hoe? Now why me you crank that soul? 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 Now why me Soulja Boy up in the hoe? Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soulja Boy, that Superman, that hoe? Now why me you crank that soul? 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 Now why I'm bouncing on my toe? Why me super soak that hoe? I'ma pass to A-Rap and he gon' pass to the low. Haters wanna be me, Soulja Boy, I'm the man. They be looking at my neck, saying it's the rubber band, man. Why me do it, damn. Let me to it, no, you can't do it like me, ho, so don't do it like me, ho. I see you try to do it like me, man, that shit ugly. Soulja Boy up in the hoe. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soulja Boy, that Superman, that hoe? Now why me you crank that soul? 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 Now why me Soulja Boy up in the hoe? Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soulja Boy, that Superman, that hoe? Now why me you crank that soul? Now why me